And this is the first ever Armed Gamer Writer podcast, which we don't have a name for yet. We could just call it the Armed Gamer Writer podcast, or we could call it What's Brewing, which is kind of the old branding. If you guys want to stick with that, or we could come up with a new name. Whatever works. What do you guys think?
I do like What's Brewing. It's fancy. It's got a little snap to it. You could always just send out to the listeners.
This is true. This is true. What do you think, Deborah?
I kind of like the one we had too.
All right, let's go with What's Brewing. So, welcome to What's Brewing, everyone. I'm Steven. I'm kind of the editor-in-chief and owner of Arm Gamer. With me today is Deborah Crocker. She is an editor at Arm Gamer, and also David Reeves. He is one of our regular writers. We're here to talk about news from Arm Gamer this week, as well as just news in gaming and whatever else comes to mind. So, I guess let's get started. Articles this week. We had Standpoint Sale reveals financial problems. Twitch bans streaming of games rated adults only. No more flying in World of Warcraft. And was the importance of good characterization this week? I think it was.
I'm not sure.
No,
I don't think so. That was also me.
Yeah, that was you, Dave. That was written May 20th. Yes, so that was last week. So let's ignore that one. And we're also going to ignore The Witcher 3 has too much sex article, because I don't feel like talking about that no more. Y'all people are crazy. So I guess let's kind of go down in chronological order then, shall we? No more flying in World of Warcraft. So, Dave, you're the one who wrote the article. Why don't you sum it up for us a bit?
One of the lead designers on Warlords of Draenor had a nice interview with Polygon, and they were just, we're not going to be bringing any flying into Draenor like everyone expected. And then they just ended up going from there saying, and we don't think we're going to bring flying back to any future expansion. That's just kind of where we are right now. We like you on the ground. And then the players revolted.
Okay, so essentially one of the developers said they didn't feel like bringing flying just to Draenor, and people got pissed off about that. Like, how important is flying then to World of Warcraft as someone who's never played it?
It originally, when it came out with flying, it was one of the big draws to the game because no other game had a thing where you could, go three-dimensional in the environment like that. At least no MMO. I mean, now we have Ion, Final Fantasy XIV, Heavensward is going to have flying. I'm sure other games are doing it.
Yeah, but even with Aeon, the flying is still pretty limited.
And so how exactly is flying done as a mechanic? Is it just like a mount and you can fly freely? Is it you're going from point A to point B? Is it like, set path destination style? What exactly is the draw?
Well, in Warcraft, flying is just a mount, and then independent flying, however you'd like to go, up, down, left, right, into lava, into waterfalls, into mountains, whatever you feel the need to do. They have their flying paths, which of course will be in the game forever. But, flying was kind of the big draw for everyone, and they're just, we get to fly around and do whatever we want. Even though all anyone ever did on their flying mounts was sit in the middle of the cities or sit right outside of the cities and do nothing.
So essentially they're complaining that they won't get to do nothing anymore.
It's part of that. The lack of flying, they're saying, is just a big kind of fuck you from developers because one of the big draws of the no flying, quote unquote, in this expansion was going to be that we were all going to be more interactive, that we were going to be on the ground, and we'd see more people and it'd be a more vibrant world. However, with Warlords of Draenor, people generally spend 90% of their time either in their garrison, the little player housing thing that WoW has developed, to where you can get your mats for your professions, you can take portals to the main city for the things you absolutely need to do. There's almost no reason to leave your garrison, and if you do, you can go to your faction's city capital to do whatever you need to do otherwise. So unless you're going to a raid or leveling up a new character, you don't see a lot of other people in the world anymore because you have no reason to leave your house. It's essentially, your characters now are the players.
Huh. Okay. That's so. I don't know much about World of Warcraft, but I also understand a lot of people spend a lot of money on the mounts, or at least in-game currency. Like, is that also kind of a factor into people
Um,
just getting pissed?
I think it's less about the money and more of the time spent getting the mounts, especially some of the rarer ones.
Hmm.
Like the Time Lost Proto Drake. I know a lot of people still kind of want that, and now if they take out flying, there'd be kind of no point for it.
Is that like a vanity mount, I guess? The Drake, I don't, Protoss Drake? Proto something Drake?
Proto.
Okay,
It's
that,
every mount in World of Warcraft is essentially a vanity mount or some kind of status symbol
hmm.
because they all go the exact same speed. And except for the very few mounts in the game they have that let you carry someone on your back, so woo, you have a friend along with you. There's no point to any of them except vanity and status. But they can't fly anymore, and everyone has spent 3 expansions, spending all of their time getting all these flying mounts, and then all of a sudden, no, we're not even going to do that anymore. Which is compounded by the fact that, like, one of the rare mounts in Draenor happens to be a flying mount.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what Warcraft ends up doing then. Like, whether they're going to just kind of cave and add flying, or if they're just going to stick to their guns on that one. But I mean, all right, I guess let's kind of move on then to the next story that was published this week. And this one caused a lot of controversy, just gaming community at large, which is Twitch bans streaming of games rated adults only. This one was written by you, Deborah, so why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of the gist of that one?
Basically that one was I like the Twitch banned adult only games, which are a very, very tiny little niche of games that have like super adult content. And honestly, the only well-known adult only game was what's it called?
San
Uh,
Andreas?
yeah, San Andreas. That's it. That was the only one, and other than Hatred, it's pretty much just that. So I don't know. I don't know why Hatred generated so much media attention because it's the violence in it is kind of on par with Mortal Kombat, and Twitch didn't ban that, so
Yeah. Well, one thing I noticed, especially in the way the media's reacting, is they're considering it like, a literal murder simulator. Like you're going around and, extra credits. I know did an entire video on this, which was the difference between like a game and like killing for fun and killing for sadism. I guess they felt that hatred fell into that sadistic realm of things, where you're killing the game for killing's sake versus killing for competition or killing for some objective fake patriotism thing. I don't know. I didn't quite agree with the video. Didn't quite understand it. But I know it isn't there something like hatred isn't actually rated by the ESRB right now, correct? They just kind of said they're adults only because let's face it, they'd probably get it. Or
yeah.
did they actually get the ESRB rating in the end?
That I'm not sure about, honestly, because I couldn't find anything where it said either which one named them, but
Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the Twitch terms of service earlier this week, and for the adults only thing, they specifically do mention other games like BMX Triple X, Honeypop or Honeypop, however you want to pronounce it. Which that game is hilarious. I wrote about that before. Never played it, but it's like a hentai bejeweled, essentially, with a dating sim attached. Um, that game just seems weird, and the owner's an idiot, or the guy who created it is an idiot. But that's a whole other can of worms and a story for another time. So, I mean, where do you guys fall on this then? On Twitch saying no, we aren't gonna, we don't do adult only games, we don't do hatred. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's really stupid because Hatred, yeah, you're brutally killing people, but Mortal Kombat, you do the same thing and you do it in much worse ways than shooting someone in the face. Like, if you've seen any of the fatalities for the new game, it's pretty horrific, and I don't understand why that one isn't flagged as adult only.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of a good point. I think that again almost comes down to your motivations of it in the individual games.
Yeah,
Like Hatred, it almost feels like a Columbine simulator the way it's been portrayed and the way it's been
that's
advertised.
probably what people are thinking.
I mean, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I generally don't play games when I'm not streaming because that's worthless to me. But and since I won't be able to stream Hatred, there's less incentive for me to actually buy it. How about you, David? What do you think of this whole shindig?
Well, I mean, looking at what I can find, it was indeed given an adults-only rating.
Oh, by the ESRB?
Yeah,
Okay,
just
so
according
it
to
did actually get that rating.
that's my 5 second
Because
Googling. I don't know.
it wasn't actually on the list yet.
hmm
So
Okay, so it's probably they just got like a notice in the mail and it wasn't updated on the website, maybe. Who knows?
I mean, but okay, so the point of the game is, a quote-unquote genocide simulator. I mean, I can still get these rampages kind of things in other games, possibly not as graphic. I assume since that's the point of Hatred, they're going to give you plenty of ways to, individually kill people and mutilate them in whatever way tickles your fancy.
hmm
But I mean, I can see where Twitch is coming from on it, banning adult only games just because it also instantly cuts out, the entire like hentai dating sim or, 90% of the weird creepy Japan games with tentacles that everyone, sometimes streams as a joke. I think Amazon owns Twitch now, so I understand if they want to cover their ass in that aspect. But at
hmm
the same time, I mean, this is just like a shit ton of violence and, maybe some bad language. I mean,
Yeah.
with every streamer you listen to, you're going to hear a bunch of bad language, and every shooter has a crap ton of violence in it. So what's the big deal?
So funny story. On God, I guess it was this past Monday I was streaming, and I was streaming Witcher 3, which, as we all know, has 16 hours of motion captured sex, as Jack wrote about, and everyone fucking bitched about that. Um, but I was streaming that, and I got started like I was just sitting there kind of being myself and cursing because that's what I do. I curse up a damn storm. And someone comes on and is like, "Hey, I don't know if you know this, but Twitch is advertising for you, and you just said a whole bunch of swear words in just a few minutes." I'm like, for one thing, no, Twitch wasn't advertising, man. I think they were on Arm Gamer and saw the embedded stream. That's what I'm assuming. And
Ah,
two, like the stream has a mature tag on it, and I'm playing The Witcher 3, which has tits. Like, I think they might have said it while there were tits on the screen, and I'm just like, dude, I don't think there's anything like I don't think that me saying fuck a bunch of times is going to suddenly be the thing that breaks the back there of pushing me over the edge of mature.
there's streamers who do a whole lot more cursing than you do.
I'm sure. I mean, I do curse a lot, but it's not every other word at least, so I can say that.
I
So
mean,
yeah, that's just my amusing anecdote there.
we've got games like The Witcher 3 with all of its sex scenes. We had like God of War 2, 3, whichever one had the quick time to orgasm event. Um, I mean, there's games like Skyrim and so forth where people have openly modded and display it on stream how they have half the female NPCs running around with like, giant boobs hanging out. Sometimes giant boobs and giant dicks on the same person.
I mean,
So,
why not at that point? Boobs and dicks? Like that's just appealing to every audience.
I mean, you have to, appeal to everyone. The biggest point is to get as many views as possible.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Which
I don't see why this is where they're taking their stand. I mean, on the one hand, I guess I'm like, that's cool. I mean, I'm glad we're cracking down on violence because I think we hide entirely too much attention on, oh God, the nipple.
Yo, man, no, nipples are the true evil in the world. Like the public display of nipples, that's what's going to cause World War III.
Deborah, you
Uh,
filthy sinner.
Excuse me, I'm wearing a shirt.
Moving on.
okay, okay, so this guy Hero Plux, wants me to read his questioning long comment out loud.
Go for it.
And it is a fascinating comment. So let me go ahead and put this into context. I like to listen to, I like to read comments and answer questions from the viewers. So I'm going to put this question to you guys as well. And I think I'm just going to have to ham up my reading of this question because it is quite the question. Hero Plox wants to know, Armed Gamer, why is it when a girl gets a vibrator, it's seen as a naughty bit of fun, but when a guy orders a 240 Fuckmaster Pro 5000 blow-up latex doll with 6-speed pulsating box, elasticized anus, and non-drip semen collection tray, together with optional built-in realistic orgasm scream surround sound system, he's called a pervert. Double standards, man. I will put that to you guys. Whatever you all want to do with that question.
I don't think we have enough time here for me to go into my diatribe on double standards regarding like sexuality in the world. Because I mean, in my opinion, everyone's kind of screwed on that point because I can sleep with whoever I want as long as I don't tell anyone about it and do it behind closed doors. Which, so, I can't be a slut for anything I do, but if I do anything sexual otherwise, I'm going to be branded and hated for it, and people are going to look at me and, give me filthy stares. And God forbid if I ever claim I was raped. Oh, whoops, I just alienated, like, some of our audience.
Yeah, no, whoever here from Tumblr is just like, what the fuck? Men can't get raped. Grr. Except by other men, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how Tumblr feels about that.
But, I mean, it's
Don't you know that?
weird,
Don't you
messed
know
up-
that male rape is a punchline, David? It's
Oh, of course. As long as it's on TV tropes, it's truth.
What do you think, Deborah?
I have a lot of feelings about Tumblr, and it's gonna take me way too long to say all of them.
How do you just feel about the question?
Um, I'd be asking that guy how much money he has for all of those.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel like I'm gonna have to ask about how much that package costs because what is it? It's a Fuckmaster Pro blow-up doll, so it's made of latex. It has a 6-speed pulsating box. That's 6 individual speeds.
Yo, it's worth whatever it costs. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's the web guy in the office there. That's Drew. He's hanging out in the background playing Battlefield 4 if you guys can hear the explosions and stuff. But yeah, so latex doll, 6-speed pulsating box. I'm assuming the box at that point is the vagina. It's got an elasticized anus, but I wonder, does the anus have 6 speeds in it as well? Like, is it just the box, I guess, that has 6 speeds to it, or does the anus include it? Because I feel like if the anus is included, that's just an oversight.
I mean, I wouldn't pay for it if it wasn't 6 speeds on both.
Yeah,
And my question is the surround sound scream system. Wouldn't that be a little dangerous? Don't you think there'd be neighbors coming knocking by asking, "Hey, do you have someone tied up in your house?"
plus the surround sound system, the surround sound part just kind of confuses me because you're gonna be like pretending to fuck one girl, then all of a sudden you're gonna hear 5.1 of them all around you, or 7.1 depending on what Dolby system they're using.
Oh,
I feel like just one speaker, but one really good speaker would be the best way to go for that. What have you done to us, Hero Plox? What have you done?
this is the kind of quality digression you only get from Armed Gamer or Drunken D&D.
Exactly. I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast. So let's actually move on to things that this podcast is supposed to be about, other than sex toys. The next, I guess, article written this week was Standpoint Sales Reveals Financial Problems, also written by you, David. So give us a bit of background on this. What's this article about?
Well, I mean, I'm just browsing Reddit and I'm on game deals because I make less money than I want to make, so and cheap games are always better. But
Okay.
I see how Standpoint is going for $1. I haven't heard much about it at this point. I've heard the name, but the top comment is from a member of the development team, and it's just an absolute, oh my God, we didn't authorize this, we weren't informed of this is terrible. And it just kind of shone some light on how they're having, a big legal disagreement with their publisher, who apparently hasn't given them any money since the game was released. Turns out the publisher actually had nothing to do with the game being on sale for the bundle, but just this whole bundle has like shown a lot of light on the problems with Bulky Pix paying their developers, Unruly, getting their products and getting paid, and just miscommunications with, I think, Plug-in Digital does Indie Game Stand.
Okay.
So
So
it's just one little bundle kind of just put this whole spotlight on problems in the industry.
so essentially, the publisher's going out and putting the games out for a price that the developer's not agreeing with at all.
Well, the developers didn't agree with that, with the price at all, because they don't really see a lot of money from that. Publishers do. But the publisher actually didn't put the deal out either. It's just, according to Plug-in Digital and the post on Reddit by Vethin, it's just they messed up their processes. They didn't get the proper authorization. So I guess someone just said, let's put this on sale in one of our bundles. They didn't quite get the yes on it. And then they came back and said, okay, it's good.
So you might say that Bully Pix is in fact getting bullied. Bad puns! Yay! So, well, what do you think on this then? Like, what does this overall say about the industry and I guess the indie games market in general?
I mean, I think it shows that while, I mean, indie games are blossoming thanks to Steam, cheaper games on Xbox and PS4, there's still a lot of ways for a small games publisher to, just get screwed out of their money, and there's a lot of, risk and worry going into it. I mean, I would love to be making games, but still, like, looking at a story like this, I can't help it but feel like it would discourage a lot of people from thinking, oh, well, so my game's going to get sold, I'm not going to see any money from it, and even the publisher who's supposed to pay me for the money isn't going to give me any money out of it. How am I even going to have enough to eat, let alone make my next game?
And what's the outcome looking for them for Bully Pix? Like, are they trying to discourage people from buying the game then until it's at an actual price that they can sustain, or are they like what's their approach on addressing this
Well,
then?
Bulky Pix is the publisher, not Bully.
Oh, it's Bulky Pix, not Bully.
Yeah. And the development team is Unruly Attractions. So I haven't heard much from Bulky Pix about this. Unruly's viewpoint through Vethin, at least, was just anyone who wants to buy a copy of the game in this sale, please do, because, I mean, they're developers and they think, the enjoyment of the players is so much more important than profits and legal issues. It's something I even wrote about in the article. I think that's a fantastic viewpoint. Things are going bad, but you are focused on your players, you're focused about the experience, so I really like that. I mean,
Hmm.
they've got a Kickstarter set up trying to get a little more funding for their next project,
Okay.
but they're just hoping they're going to recover enough to proceed, and that's what really matters to them.
Okay. So what's their next? Like, what is the game standpoint then? Like, what kind of game is it?
I've given Standpoint about 2 hours of playtime, and it's it's kind of a puzzle platformer. You essentially, like, it opens up, and the first stage is called Denial, to which, I've already feel like this little psychological edge to it.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're wandering around, the basic mechanic on this is that as you can click the walls or click the ceiling, and your, I guess, reference of gravity changes. So if you click the ceiling, suddenly that's your floor, and you go that way. You click a wall, suddenly that's your floor. Everything rotates. And as you go through, you've got to get around platforms that are in your way. You have to adjust your gravity to hit switches as they're there. There are platforms that will kill you, obstacles that will kill you, parts of the floor and walls that you'll have to rotate around because they will kill you. There are sections where you have to build momentum up. So instead of that hallway, you have to turn it into a fall so that you can shatter through a like glass wall and get progress through the stage. It's really interesting. And in the midst
Okay.
of all this, there's also this really kind of creepy, I want to say like, English accented lady's voice who's kind of guiding you through things, just, but just giving you very regretful things, like, if only I'd been there for you and such like that. So it makes me wonder if at the end of this I'm a trapped kid who's dead or something.
Well, as we all know, old English ladies just sound creepy. Like if you want a creepy voiceover, you go for the old English ladies.
Damn you,
Apologies to
Margaret
any old
Thatcher.
English ladies who may be watching.
Yeah, well, I'm just apparently trying to alienate as much of our audience as we can tonight. I mean, we've alienated Tumblr, probably alienated Jack actually, but with that one joke we made. I don't know if he was watching or not. He'll be on next week. But yeah, no, the game sounds interesting. I'm kind of sad to hear that it's running into that issue with their publisher. That is kind of bullshitty. But what do you think, Deborah? What's your take on the whole situation? Do you think it's bulky picks should not, like, they didn't cover themselves well enough, or
I feel like if you're like an indie developer, there's only so much covering yourself that you can do. So I mean,
yeah,
I figure they did all that they could given what they had,
mm-hmm.
and it was ultimately the publisher that screwed them over.
That's true. And yeah, I suppose I would say that's fair. So I mean, all right, I guess that's all that was written on Arm Gamer this week. So I guess how long have we been doing this for? What's the runtime on this now? I don't even know.
25 minutes, 26
Yeah,
minutes.
that's about it.
All right, well, what games have you guys been playing this week then? Let's end our What's Brewing with that. What have you guys all been doing?
Go ahead,
Mostly
Jen.
Heroes and Elder Scrolls Online.
So you still play Elder Scrolls Online? How is it now that it's not subscription based anymore?
Well, the free to play model they put in is actually really good. Um, all of the stuff that you can buy is completely optional. No one's forcing you to buy anything. And it, like, for me, I don't really need the subscription for what I do because I mean, I'm not in any huge rush to level, and one of the perks of the subscription is, well, faster leveling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much on a need basis. Like if you feel like you need the subscription, then you can go ahead and get it, but it's nothing that they're going to force you into. So also they do the vanity items, and they cycle those out every few months or so. And then they'll do a sale at the end of whatever month. They're going to cycle the new ones out
Mm-hmm.
and put different models and stuff in. So
So
it's friendly
that
money.
would you say that ESO is worth it then?
I would definitely say it's worth it,
Okay.
despite all of the haters. David.
Oh, so you're
I
you're
didn't
against
say a
it,
word.
David.
I think ESO is, it's a wonderful idea, and I support them, and I'm glad it's worked out. I just don't know how I feel about an Elder Scrolls game where I can't steal, murder, and mod to my heart's content. I mean, as I
But
mentioned earlier, we need
you
those
can
giant
steal
boobs
and
and
murder
dicks.
now. You just can't mod. Because they put in a justice system, so it works pretty much just like Skyrim now. Everything except modding.
Well, David, there goes your complaints.
What
You
about my macho
asshole.
dragons?
Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You have
Skyrim doesn't
spoken.
have dragons yet in this game, so this is the third era.
You
Yep.
people and your lore.
But
I
does
can't
it
say
have?
anything.
But does ESO have less Argonian maids?
Yes. In fact, you can
Nice.
actually collect all of the books.
Nice. Hey, Pretty Bear, how's it going? This is What's Brewing. It's kind of a writer's podcast where we dick around and talk about gaming news for the week. And also dick around. I think I mentioned the dicking around podcast. We're doing a lot of that right now.
A little bit of looking around.
Yeah, no, we also apparently like to alienate readers. And yeah, I guess we're just kind of finishing this up by talking about what we've been playing. And I guess, so Deborah said ESO, and we've been making fun of that. How about you, David? What have you been playing? Drew's in the background, and he
I got
apparently
another jump off a snowmobile. It runs away.
he just got off a snowmobile and killed someone with that.
It flew
in
off a-
Nothing
Battlefield
as fun
4.
as that.
Apparently. So David, what have you been playing?
I've been playing some Heroes of the Storm because I mean I've found it to be really good. With the whole no more flying in WoW, alongside the whole you can pay for in-game time with gold. I spent some of that fake money just to go back and see the game and see if anything had changed. Not really.
You know,
Um,
one thing that bothers me is with Heroes of the Storm is that its acronym is exactly the same as Heart of the Swarm, which is another Blizzard game. So be like, yo, I'm gonna go play HOTS. Like, oh shit, which game do I have to think about now? Kills me.
I hear you. Besides that, I've dinked around with Standpoint, obviously, and I've been playing a little bit of Isaac Rebirth because someone mentioned it in a Skype call, and you know how those things spiral out of control.
Isaac Rebirth is the which one is that? Is the is that the indie
remake?
is that the indie game with the creepy ass baby, the fetus?
I mean, he's a little bit older than a fetus. It's like the one where you kind of walk around. It's like Zelda with poop and permadeath.
Okay,
You
yeah, I
are
know that.
you are a naked child running away from your overly religious mother who's trying to kill you, and she apparently has demons in her basement made of poop.
Sounds biographical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is fascinating. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, and I think some of the people who might be watching this might have seen my streams earlier. I've been doing The Witcher 3. A lot of that. That game is fun as shit, and I think like almost 20 hours in, and I still haven't gotten a true sex scene yet. So I suspect Jack might be lying. Wait,
I have a friend who got The Witcher 3, and he's been playing through it, and he says he's seen about 4 sex scenes so far, but since the game came out, I haven't spoken with him, I'd say, for more than an hour at a time. Just, what are you doing, Witcher? What are you doing, Witcher? He finally got to that sex on the unicorn scene, though.
I have heard rumor about the sex on a unicorn scene,
I just
and
need to YouTube that one day and just see how it comes about because, like, how do you even lead into that?
just watch the stream. You'll eventually see it there. But they teased it at the beginning. They teased it because Yennefer does have a letter that's like, P.S. I still have the unicorn. Wink. So apparently they've done sexy times on the unicorn in the past. Many sexy times with many different herrings.
This is a unicorn with amazing tolerance.
Apparently, it's just a unicorn is like, fuck it, I'm a bed now. Do they like hose down the unicorn afterwards?
I think the unicorn is stuffed. I think it's like just a full-size kind of taxidermied unicorn sitting in a woman's house.
That's even creepier. Like, sex on a taxidermied unicorn is just somehow creepier than sex on a living one. I really need to play up to this scene now. God, Harley, I don't know if I would want to see sexy time with the unicorn. Talking to
That is
chat.
a different website.
Yeah, that's a totally different website. Fairly certain that's like Rule 34 or I don't know. What's the furry site? Is there a furry site like furry.xxx or something? I don't know. Don't go there, please, people watching. I don't want to be responsible for your virgin eyes.
Do you really want to find that?
I don't want to find it. But another game I've been playing is Final Fantasy X, the HD remaster.
Ooh.
Yes, on PS4. It's actually, I mean, it's fun. I like the Final Fantasy franchise. I never got to play enough of it. And this is my first time going through Final Fantasy X, and it's fun.
10
It
gets
is.
a lot of flack because it's the first game with voice acting and all of that, but I thought 10 was a really fun game.
The voice acting is occasionally terrible. Where they're like, I have to laugh now. Ha, 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 ha.
That was horrifying.
Yeah, no, that entire scene is horrifying. And I do play Blitzball, Harley. Blitzball is the best. If they released a standalone Blitzball game, I would lose my life to it. Like, football manager style, with a little bit of FIFA, and Blitzball, I'm in.
Blitzball actually is the reason I stopped playing the game the first time through, not because I disliked it, I just kind of forgot the story.
Yeah, I can see that. Just playing enough Blitzball. Like, wait, where am I? What was I doing? Shit.
Something. I think. Do I have an airship? I don't know.
Something. There's. Yep. So, alright, guys. I think this was a good time. We're about at that half-hour point. I think this is a good time to end the podcast. So thank you guys for watching. Again, this is What's Brewing with Armed Gamer. I'm the editor-in-chief, Steven. And with me in this call was Deborah. She is an editor for Armed Gamer, and also David. He is one of our regular writers. You guys could check out their articles on armedgamer.com. Make sure you give our YouTube channel a follow, youtube.com/armedgameronline, and follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/armedgamer. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stick around, because after I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to kind of put things on pause while I set up. I'm going to stream The Witcher 3 tonight, because why the hell not? So thank you guys for participating. Catch you guys later. Peace.